Hello subscribers and non-subscribers, welcome back to Empire Total War on the American Civil War mod. One thing I do want to say real quick before I start my timer is to say that I am currently holding a poll over on Google+. I'll provide a link in the description to it. Basically, I just want you guys to say yes or no to it, and the question is just simply if you would like to see hour-long episodes for this series and for Tom Clancy's End War. The plan is, in that case, to go and essentially every episode that is a number that is divisible by 10 into a whole number will be an hour-long episode. So in the case of this series, it would start at episode 20 or part 20, whatever. And in the case of End War, it would start once they get to part 10. And then those would be approximately an hour long. Probably not exactly. They might be like 59 minutes and 50 seconds. But that's just the idea, is that I'll have approximately an hour-long episode, if yes wins, of course. It doesn't matter to me either way, though, because it's really no different. It just means I record a bit longer and the render time goes up a bit. But since I usually render overnight, it doesn't really matter to me. So, yeah. But let me go ahead and start my timer for 30 minutes, just so that I can make sure that I actually know more or less when it's okay to stop. So first things first, we got some money to spend, but it's not much, so I don't think I'm going to spend it. I think I might go, well, I don't know. Actually, you know what? We'll go and spend it on that to upgrade some of our farms that I didn't realize needed upgrades. Okay, we got that, but I don't know if I want to bother with that right now. It's still pretty much in hostile territory. Are there any other farms and whatnot for me to upgrade? Does not look like it. So we're just gonna move on, because that's not exactly safe, so I don't want to bother with it. Okay, those guys are not gonna do much. And they've got an issue of this group of armies right here marching up towards us. Led by, oh, Pickett. Haven't we fought him before, or was that Beauregard that we fought multiple times? I think it was Beauregard that we fought multiple times. I don't know if we've even... I don't think we've even fought Pickett yet. Okay, we're going to go and set those guys to start healing up. We'll have them do that, I think, for about a turn, and then we'll ship them off to deal with these guys, and then march down onto Upper Texas and basically scout it out and let us know how well defended it is. Well, let's go ahead and end the turn. Oh, good. Some of them are going back. Oh, okay, those guys just marched back into Upper Texas. Oh, and workers rioting in West Texas, which I'm not too surprised by. Got some cavalry over in New Mexico. And let's go ahead and see this. Medal of Honor introduced. The Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration awarded by the United States government. It is bestowed on members of the United States Armed Forces who distinguish themselves conspicuously by gallantly and intrepidly at the risk of his or her life above and beyond the call of duty while engaged in an action against an enemy of the United States. Early in the Civil War, a medal for individual valor was proposed by Iowa Senator James W. Grimes to Winfield Scott, the commanding general of the United States Army, and Senate Bill 82, containing a provision for a Medal of Honor, is signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln on December 21st, 1861 for the U.S. Navy, and on July 12th, 1862 for the U.S. Army. This measure provides for awarding a Medal of Honor to such non-commissioned officers and privates as shall most distinguish themselves by their gallantry in action and other soldier-like qualities during the present insurrection. Chronicled the Western Theater. In Kentucky, skirmishing continued throughout the month as the state's neutrality was ignored. In Missouri, President Lincoln directed General Henry Halleck to suspend the right of habeas corpus to St. Louis and imprison federal opponents without charges or trials. On the Gulf Coast, federal forces reoccupied Ship Island, Mississippi. This was used as a staging ground for a later attack on New Orleans, or however you wish to say it. Okay, so those guys marched back into West Texas, so... Oh, it's very lightly defended. I think these guys could probably take it. Well, I don't know. There's a total of 6 enemies that we'd be fighting, and we've got 6 of our own. Also, you guys are exempt from taxes. Be happy. You guys don't really have... Well, I guess you do have some destroyed buildings, but for the most part, your buildings are in pretty good condition. And that's quite a bit of region wealth, but not a whole lot in the way of tax income. And you guys, yeah, you guys are pissed. And that's kind of annoying, honestly. I should probably go and take Chihuahua from the Confederates at some point in the future. Also, it looks like I'm going to have to declare war on Mexico at some point in the future to take Lower Texas. Didn't they give that to... Didn't the Confederates give that to the Netherlands? Is Mexico at war with the Netherlands? Something I could think of. Yes, they actually are at war with the United Provinces, so the Dutch, the Netherlands. So, yeah, okay, I'm going to have to go to war with Mexico, because they have taken land that is rightfully mine. Which, it's easier to go to war with Mexico than it is to go to war with the United Provinces, so thank you, Mexico, for taking that. I kind of want to take a group from over here and ship them off towards there to help out. I don't know if that would really work out, though. And these guys still need to heal up. So, I don't know. We'll see. Sir. I'll just leave you guys there. You guys just relax. Keep an eye on Upper Texas. Let me know if they do anything that we don't necessarily approve of. And that's basically that. Okay. Oh, okay. It looks like the bulk of their army... Oh, it looks like they split that army up, actually. That's great news for me. See, I've got 4 guys here. They've got 3 there. I could probably beat them, because I don't think for the most part, those are significantly powerful units. Although I'm sure I will come to regret the decision if I do attack them. And they should not get reinforcements, so I should be fine. Now, that group up there is still going to be a pain to deal with. But this one right here, I should be able to deal with them. So, let's go ahead, take these guys, and we'll ship them off to attack this group. They're not going to run. I slightly outnumber them by 25 people. Let's save. And, well, we will go and fight this battle. 50-50 shot of winning according to the game, although my cavalry might be just what I need to tip the balance in my favor once I actually get into the battle, so one moment. Okay, we are back. And so we have a hill over here, which is absolutely wonderful. At least I think it will be. Let's see. There is an area here that I could put my infantry along, although it's not the greatest. But it should do a pretty decent job. But I could also just go and actually sit up on the hill itself. Got the house there, or town hall as they label it. We shall see exactly what I end up doing, but I think I'm going to go, at least generally speaking, on that hill. But exactly where on the hill, I don't know. So, end deployment. Oh, the enemy put themselves all the way on the other side. Damn, okay, that kind of ruins what I thought they were going to do. I figured that they would drop themselves off right over in this area. I would put my infantry at least either up on that hill or down here, and they would just march towards me as I fire upon them. But if they're going to go to that side of the map, I'm probably going to have to go out on the offensive. And I do want to go ahead and say this, that I will probably revisit this mod in the future. Once it's a little bit further along in development, so basically once more has been done in terms of adding in features and whatnot. Actually having the AI be aggressive. The AI is not aggressive in the version I'm using, which is I think 3.5 or something. I believe they're currently on 3.6, which the AI is apparently actually aggressive in 3.6. But not in the version I'm playing, as I said. So I pretty much have to always march towards the enemy, except for those few rare scenarios where the enemy will actually march towards me, but that's very rare. So I'm probably going to go and actually in post end up cutting out a portion of this while we wait to march up there, because that's going to take quite a while, and I don't really feel like spending most of the 60-minute timer that I have going on down here for time remaining actually marching towards the enemy. And I know they have another group somewhere. They're probably in the forest right here, honestly. Because the enemy probably has them in pretty much a straight line, so they're more than likely into here, and enough of them are considered in the forest that the entire unit is hidden. Oh, and the cavalry got up to its position already. I would prefer, if at all possible, to stick my cavalry on the enemy's flank. So, let's see, is there an area that I can do this without the enemy potentially attacking me? Looks like over here I might be able to do it. And if I don't go and actually straight up cut this out, I'll just go and fast forward most of it in post on top of the fast forward that's already in place. So it'll probably be like a 5 times speed kind of thing or something. Yep, that's going to take a while. More so for my infantry than it is for my cavalry. My cavalry is probably going to get there long before the battle is actually ready to start. Let's go take a look at their units. I will say this, the units do look quite nice. At least for the most part. There does seem to be a little seam there that probably isn't supposed to be there. But for the most part, you're probably not going to notice it, since you're not really meant to go and look that close to the units. Oh, yep, so they did have them in the forest, and enough of them were in the forest to apparently be considered hidden. Yeah, it looks like some of these units have seams that are not really meant to be visible on their shoulders. But again, for the most part, you're not really meant to look at the units that closely, so you're not going to notice it for the most part. Let's see, do my units have them? Yeah, it looks like my units do kind of have them, but they're, I think, a little bit more difficult to see on my units than they are in the Confederate units over here. Although if I do revisit this mod, I'm probably going to go and play as the Confederates. And if for any reason they add in the ability to play as any minor nations, then I might go and play as them, even at a like 3rd or 4th playthrough kind of thing. But I don't exactly have plans to do that many. Probably only going to do 2 at the end of the day. This one, and one as the Confederates further down the line. Maybe with like 3.7 or something depending on whatever version they're on when I finish this and I'm got the free time. So my cavalry's almost in position. My infantry, they still have a pretty decent ways to go. And they are very, well, one of them is very tired. The other is fresh for whatever reason. They've both been marching for the same amount of time. So I don't know why. Well, actually, no, the one that's very tired is the one that has has the most experience in comparison to the other. So yes, that is kind of odd. So those guys have experience level 5 and are very tired, yet the experience level 2 guys are fresh, despite the fact that they've both been walking for the same amount of time. That does not make much sense. And my cavalry is fresh, which I'm not too surprised by. They've been walking, although they were walking pretty fast when they were going down that hill. Now, I do wish that I could have my guys fire from horseback, so that I could just have them kind of swoop in along the side, fire some shots into the enemy, and then swoop back around, sort of in a circle, back over to here to rest for a little bit, and then rinse and repeat for basically until my infantry's in position. But I can't really do that. I could tell these guys to dismount. I don't think that's going to be a great idea, personally. In fact, what is the range for you guys? Well, I don't know. Because it's not going to tell me while they're on horseback. But if I tell them to get off, I probably will be able to see. But I don't want them to get off. I want them to stay there. Let's fast forward again. And I think my timer is going to go off because I haven't actually paused it or anything. I could charge in there. I do outnumber these guys by 50. I do outnumber these guys by, what, 125? And these guys by 100. But, of course, they've got 3 units altogether that they could engage me with. So, still doesn't really work out all that well. Infantry is almost in position. I will have to move you guys up just a tad bit more, however. Oh, nope, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Go back there. Come on. That was a pretty decent volley, I would say so. Just gonna wait a bit longer before we go and actually use our cavalry. I would love it for the rest of those guys to split off from one another before I make use of them. And not all these guys can see the enemy. Pretty much all of you guys should be able to. That was a pretty nice volley, if I do say so myself. Just like the first one. I could swoop my cavalry in, though. That's the thing. I could swoop them in from behind, way back here. Come in from the side. Probably cause these guys to rout fairly quickly, I think. Yeah, you guys are tired. Not in the best position, really, to be fighting. Well, actually, you guys on the end can't really see that well. You do look like, for the most part, you are hitting them, though. Although the enemy looks like they're having a bit of a difficult time really hitting us. Most of their guys seem to be hitting the ground right in front of them, which is good for me, of course. And, of course, you got the fog here from firing. Which I don't think actually has any real effect on the units themselves. Which is kind of a shame. I wish it did. Okay, these guys are shaken. My guys are steady and confident. I think we killed the guy that had their flag. Or maybe those guys don't have anyone carrying their flag. But that would be kind of odd. They probably do. I just don't see them. I don't see them on the ground. Unless he uses a generic model when they're dead. Which I suppose is possible. To just use a generic model when they die. Because yeah, I definitely don't see anyone that has a flag. Because I know my guys have someone that holds a flag. Got this guy right here with his sword. And you got these guys and this guy right here with his drums. There we go. Oh, there we go. They're marching this other group in. And now is the time to strike with our cavalry. That will hopefully not fail me. Like it does. Probably pretty much every time. I want you guys to walk for a little bit until you get a bit closer. Pretty much until you're past the forest.
General and staff at your service.
There you go. There you go. You guys are winded. I probably should pull them back so they can rest for a bit. But I think they'll hold out fine. What do you guys do? Oh, you're looking out towards me. Okie dokie. Then I don't know if I still want to charge you. If I do, probably want to change direction slightly. So let's move up towards here. You guys run. Try to stay out of their range. Nope, never mind. Okay, they're turning. Charge back towards them. Oh, and those guys are back. If you guys can get in from behind, that would be absolutely wonderful. Oh, and we took out one of their guys with a lucky shot, it looks like. Wavering, come on, come on, route, there we go. Move on to the next group. They're wavering, oh, they're already broken. They're out of here. Come on, deal with the last group. You guys are not gonna have a fun time. You guys, stop firing. Don't need you to rout our cavalry that has won the battle for us. Well, not really won it. They finished off the enemy. That's my point. And that is that. So, end battle. And a heroic victory. I don't think we really took any losses, but we'll see exactly what we lost once we come back. Okay, let's see. We lost 153 units. Of which it looks like 5, if my math is correct, were lost due to friendly fire. However, every single enemy that we killed, which was 999, or every unit that the enemy lost, which was 999, we killed. So, not bad, if I do say so myself. Although I think their units are probably still alive and retreated. Although they only have 226, so maybe not. Oh, yep, they still managed to retreat. Now, you guys need to turn tail and run before the rest of those guys get over here. And they set that farm on fire. The timer has about 6 minutes left on it, which is pretty much just the time I need to move through my territories and upgrade a couple of things. Now, if only I could give those guys the actual units. Some actual infantry, which I will not be able to do here at the military governor's barracks, it seems. Well, now that's going to be an annoyance. Oh, and I can recruit George Meade. These guys have artillery, right? No, they don't. Okay. I mean, they don't need artillery anyway. It's nice to have. So, let's see. What do they want? Give them a 12-pound howitzer or a 9-pound, I think, no, 6-pounder. So basically half the size. It's higher accuracy, slightly less range, but an accuracy of 45 in comparison to 20. Although I am comparing a howitzer to a more traditional cannon. If I were to compare this to the Napoleon, actually the Napoleon's a hell of a lot better, but I can't build any more Napoleons. I'm limited to 5. I can, however, build 3 more light horse artillery or 3 howitzers. I mean, the Napoleon still has more range than the howitzers and is significantly better in pretty much every way, so I would probably pick the Napoleon over the howitzer. And in this case, I would probably also pick a 6-pounder over the howitzer, so I'll give you guys 3. And I could recruit some Marines, and I'll do that. I'll give you guys some Marines to add some more variety to your... although you guys do have a decent amount of variety with your California volunteers along with the Kansas volunteers. Also, I know somebody typed up something that was like explaining to me why, what was it? Which one was it that has the... Nebraska has the California volunteers, but I don't see that comment anymore. So it like straight up disappeared pretty much right away. So they might have deleted it after typing it, but yeah, so whoever it was that typed that, I don't mind if you go ahead and put that comment up so that I can actually see it and understand why you think, at the very least, that Nebraska has it. I mean, I can only imagine that it's because California is not on the map in this game. So they said, well, what's the next best place that we can go and throw California conscripts or volunteers in? Someone said, well, let's just go and throw them in Nebraska. It's the only thing I could think of, to be honest, but I don't actually know at the end of the day. Let's see. I could go with engineers. Are they really any better than conscripts? Slightly more accurate. They are better in a lot of ways, actually. Although, holy smokes. The Union heavy artillery battalions are really freaking accurate. 54 accuracy. Yes, please. Let's, nope, no conscripts. There we go. That's going to be your guys' army. You are going to deal with the Confederates in the South and Mexico, of course, as well, because Mexico pissed me off when they took Lower Texas from the United Provinces, who pissed me off when they traded it with the Confederates. So, I'm going to beat the crap out of Mexico to take back part of Texas, although that'll probably wait until pretty much after we've crippled the Confederacy to, like, nothing. And someday we will still go and take over Virginia. I just don't want to because they've got basically an army of equal size here. Although, wow. What happened to the governor's residence there? I have not done anything to it. Why is it so damaged? Oh. Oh. Clamor for reform. I see. So, they've got an issue, essentially, where the lower class, which I think in this game, in this mod is labeled as the... No, it is labeled as a lower class, okay. Are pretty much pissed off at the Confederates, at the Confederate government, and I guess rioted, which caused the governor's residence to be severely damaged, which, of course, has sort of pissed off the middle class. Oh, they've got a lot of war weariness. Damn. But it basically got rid of the... whatever it was that helps decrease the amount there, the repression from government buildings, that pretty much disappeared, more or less. Yeah, it's down to 1, so... Richmond might be a decent target, but probably not. I mean, I do plan to take it, of course, but I don't know when that'll be, because, again, they've got an army of pretty much equal size. When you include their reinforcements, so I don't I don't really want to go and jump in there and basically get my arse handed to me with that army that cost me quite a hefty amount of money, led by McClellan, who I don't know if he'll do a great job. But hopefully he does a decent job of taking Richmond at some point in the future. I could also just march completely past Richmond and march down to the Carolinas, but that would leave DC undefended, so I don't want to do that either. So, we'll figure out exactly what ends up happening at some point in the future. We are not going to bother fighting a second battle right now because my timer just went off. So, let me see. Let's go ahead and continue upgrading our stuff, at least to the best of our ability. Although, maybe not. Yeah, those guys are not going to get anything. These guys are probably going to get their arse handed to them by these guys over here, who are probably going to continue marching towards Frankfurt, and probably regroup with that army to head over here to march on to Tennessee, who will, if I'm lucky, do a decent job of defending, although I should probably get some more conscripts. At least what I can. And I've got the army over here in Missouri that is pretty much maxed out. They're getting their cavalry, or their, not cavalry, their artillery marching towards them, along with the 4th U.S. Artillery, Battery B, which will hopefully do a decent job of... Oh, these guys can hide in woodlands. Awesome. These guys are definitely not going to be fighting in Antietam, Fredericksburg, or Gettysburg. I will tell you that right now. So yeah, we're just going to have to wait for those guys to group up here in Missouri, where they will, depending on where these armies are situated, march on Mississippi, or if push comes to shove, march all the way down to Louisiana. Which, if I do manage to take Louisiana, that would split the Confederates in half, although they don't really have much territory off to the west of Louisiana. They've got Upper Texas and Nashville, Chihuahua, which belongs to Mexico. So, yeah. And actually, if I'm lucky, I might be able to go and take Chihuahua and trade it to Mexico for Lower Texas back without needing to even fight Mexico, which I'd be fine with that as well. I don't need to fight them if I can avoid it. But that's going to be it, I think, for this episode. Let me check and see if there's any armies that I can actually reinforce with additional to replenish them. I don't think I have any. I mean, I could do these guys, but they're probably going to get destroyed, so I'd rather not. That's money that I could spend elsewhere. And if not spend, at the very least save. So, yeah, we're just going to go and say that that's how this is going to work out. This army will either go from Mississippi or Louisiana. This army will, at some point in the future, march on Upper Texas, probably then turn around to go and take Chihuahua. And then I'll see if I can trade Chihuahua to Mexico for Lower Texas back. If they say no, then I'll declare war on them and take that and basically take over the entire Mexican territories, which means everything down to Antigua, Guatemala. The army here is going to stay here until I am in a position in which I feel as though is safe, although I could just build a second army here in Philadelphia if I really wanted to, and march it down into D.C. and have the army in D.C. march past Richmond and take the Carolinas, which I might do that as well. I don't know. Again, we'll figure out exactly what I end up doing in the future. I've got some ideas. Don't know if any of them will really work out, but we'll see. We'll see. Also, how are we faring here? Oh, everybody seems happy. Can we kick up taxes at all without people being pissy? Nope, not really. Okie dokie. Then we will not be doing that. Can I upgrade any infrastructure? I don't think I can. I think it's all outside of my budget. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty much all outside my budget. And if not, we're just going to assume it is, because everyone I looked at was outside my budget. Also, ministers. Any of you guys that I should probably replace? I'm not really a fan of the Prime Minister. He's kind of worthless here. Prime Minister, no name. I'd also love it if I could get one of these guys that decreases the upkeep cost. That would be wonderful. Even if it means increased recruitment costs, that'd be fine. This guy's worthless to me, though, at the end of the day, for the most part. So, I don't need to replace him because what he does is worthless anyway. So even if I replaced him, it wouldn't mean anything to me. This guy's pretty nice. Decreases the cost of the town watch, which is the gray here. When you get attacked, these guys become actual units that you can lead, and, well, that's basically the town watch. So, let's see. I'd like to replace you, Simon Cameroon. So, goodbye. Oh, you're all going to be like that, aren't you? They're probably all going to be like that, honestly, now that I think about it. So, probably was a waste to get rid of him. Now I have a guy who has no name, who's my Secretary of the Army, or whatever his rank was, or title was. So there's that. What was it now? Okay, Secretary of War. Okay, but he's basically in charge of the army. Yeah, okay. Well, that's that for this episode. So, as always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, goodbye and farewell.